Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to fix an issue that I originally thought was a water pressure issue, which probably still a little bit is to our house, is that we have water pressure issues here. But one of the issues that we have is that sinks that are used a lot, like our bathroom sinks, they have really low water flow. So you can see there's no laundry being done or whatever. You can see it's barely going out, even if you turn them way up on both. You can see that the water is really just not coming out that strongly, which makes it a little bit more hard to wash your hands. So, it used to be really easy. You could just grab this and there's a piece sticking out with a filter on it. You could just unscrew it with your hand, or if you had to, get a little pliers to unscrew it, but you can't do that anymore. Now you need keys. So, I bought these on Amazon. They're $7. And I wasn't exactly sure which key I needed, and so and I would have bought the red one, to be honest with you, because that's what was at the hardware store. But I wanted the full key set because I was like, well, if I have to clean out anything else, I need these. So all they are is really, they're keys with little things in it. And that's what really is going to get this filter from this flat faucet out of here. So the green one works for me. You get these for $7 online. And basically what we're going to do is we're just going to take the filter out of here, see if it's clean. And if it's not clean, we're going to soak it in a little bit of vinegar. And then we're going to put it all back together and show you how the water flow is better than it was when it was dirty. So here we go. So general rule, you just got to get it kind of up and under there. Then general rule, righty tighty, lefty loosey, right? So if you just put it up under there, you got to put a little pressure up on it, or the teeth won't stay in it. And so then when I get this off, I'll show you how the teeth kind of line up. Once you get it kind of loosened, you can kind of do it with your hands too. You can just... But getting it loosened to start with, you definitely need these keys. So here we go. Let me pull it out. So now you can see there's a little bit of debris in here. You can see that off the top, right? So then it comes in a couple of different pieces, and you can see that this is really how it lines up. You see how the key and the under piece line up? That's how you get it loosened. So that's that. So then this really is a flow restrictor. So you could take this piece out, but you're gonna need, and I'm gonna show you quick, a knife to do that. The easiest thing to do is put it on like a towel and just kind of work it loose. So it will come off, it's just on there really tight. So if you can get something in there, there we go, and pop it off. Now you can see this one's dirty, because look at, you can see that kind of, it's got debris on the inside. And then there's a couple different things within here. So you can see there's a white one, there's a gray one, and a white one. Just make sure when you do pop them out, you remember the order they go in. But they do come out of there if you need them to come out of there. They do come out of there. But this one, if you look through, you can see the color of my skin through it. This one doesn't have anything in it that much, right? So it's really pretty clear on that. So the issue with this sink is really probably going to be in this airflow, or this flow restrictor. So just to show you quick, this is what the sink normally does, which is obviously going to spray everywhere because it doesn't have any filters on it. But you can see that's not a pressure issue. It's clearly a filtering issue with this little flow restrictor, because that's the only thing that would slow the water down from coming through the faucet. So you can do a couple things. One, you can just replace it. So we're going to try to order some off of Amazon and replace it, and we'll show you those. But the other thing you can do with it is you can soak it in white vinegar, and that should clean it out, which would make this that you could reuse this. So as you can see, I'm not going to put this piece back on. That's the flow restrictor that you'd pop on, right? I'm going to soak this and see how that works. I'm not going to put it back on, but I don't want to not use this sink while I'm waiting for that to get cleaned. There we go. So now it's back on. So again, no flow restrictor on it. And you can see it does spray a little bit, but you look at how much more water comes out of that compared to what it was. So without the flow restrictor, it's going to spray a little bit more. You're not going to get as nice of a stream, but you also get a ton more pressure. So now you can actually use it, wash your hands. But you can tell that it's got more of a spray to it. So you're probably going to want to put that flow restrictor back in, just so you get a steady stream down of your water. But in the meantime, at least you can wash your hands with a decent water pressure. Okay, just a couple things to note. One, keys. You might as well get them all, because they're like $3 for one, or you can get all 4 for $7. 2, although my filter, not just the flow restrictor, mine was clean, yours might not be. You might have to take a toothbrush or a toothpick or something like that and get all the little pieces out of it if you have like grit in there or whatever, right? So you might have to soak this and this to get it clean, or you might have to use a toothbrush to get this cleaned out. But that's it, really. So at the end of the day, you either can order new flow restrictors, which I'll put a link in the description of the ones I'm going to order. I'll also put a link in the description below to the keys I ordered. Like I said, they're cheap, so you might as well do it. And then I'm going to try to clean this with white vinegar, and I will let you know tomorrow if that works, because I'm going to soak it overnight, and if it works, I don't have to order more. But I'll probably do both. So I'll soak this, and I'll probably order some just to replace things as we go, because generally speaking, cleaning things like this, it's probably cheaper just to replace it in the long run. So that's it. We'll take a look at this tomorrow, and we'll wrap this up. Okay guys, welcome back. So we soaked our flow restrictor, basically. We soaked it in vinegar to get it cleaned out as much as we can, because obviously, like we showed earlier, there was low flow coming out of our faucets, and it was all because of this little thing. So we soaked it in vinegar, and we're going to give it a shot of adding to this thing. So right now it doesn't have that on there, so you can see how much flow is there. But you can see it kind of sprays a little bit, because the one thing that's kind of nice about these is that it gives you an even flow going out of it. So soaked it in vinegar for about a day and a half or so, and we're going to give it a shot, putting it back in, and see if we still have restricted flow from our water. And again, our other screens, your screens might be dirty, you know, so those might have to be soaked or cleaned with a brush or toothpick or whatever you can get in there to get that cleaned out. But we're going to put this piece back on here, which just snaps across the top. So there we go. So that's snapped in, and so now we have our flow restrictor back on here, and you saw how much water was coming up before. So now we're just going to put that back up on there. Okay, so we tighten it back up, and here's what you get for flow. So not great, not great. So did the vinegar help? Maybe a little bit, but very little bit. So my suggestion would be just to buy those little flow protectors. Just buy a new one. So a lot of times when you get the keys, you can get one per faucet, you know. So I would just get a new one, because let me show you what a new one will flow like versus trying to soak this in vinegar. Now this is a new one that we got, and you can see it has quite a bit more flow to it. So at the end of the day, you're better off just getting a new one versus trying to clean those out. They're not super cheap, but they're also not really expensive either. So instead of spending the time taking them out, putting them in vinegar, putting them back in, you're better off just buying a new flow for the Moen faucets. Just keep in mind though, when you do it, you're going to look for, and you want to make sure you get the right one. So like I know ours are like the millimeters of what your sink really is. You want to make sure you have the right one, otherwise it won't fit. So better off just to buy a new one. Soaking them doesn't work. But at the end of the day, you can see that we thought it was basically a water pressure issue with our house. And it was odd, because it was only really these sinks that were having the issue. But really the flow restrictor that's on those is what was causing it, because once those get clogged, you basically are restricting the flow coming out of your sink, and that's why it was starting to trickle instead of actually run. So have to buy these keys, or keys to loosen it if you have like Moen type faucets where it's flush, where the screen is flush. Buy these keys, $7. Then just get a new screen and flow protector with it and put it in, because the new ones won't be clogged. And you know, we've been in this house about 2 years, and that's how long it took for these to get clogged. So that's it. Subscribe to our channel. I'll put a link in the description below for these, as well as the one that we got for our sink. I'll put a link in the description below for that as well. Give us a thumbs up. We'll see you next time. Thanks.